Yeah, very happy holidays from us at Kickoff to Tip-Off. We wish you guys the very best. Hope everybody's enjoying their extended break from work and everything else. Guys, we are right back into the offseason, Noah. What a what a turn, man. I mean, it feels like we did the lap in less than like a minute, and we're right back where we started, is what it feels like. No bowl game, nothing to kind of celebrate. Actually, I think the last video we did was the Arizona State recap, and we only missed the Texas Tech game, which what was there really to say in that one? So that's long in the past, Noah. A lot of stuff has happened since then. That's kind of the overall goal of this video, is to kind of just do an off-season haul so far. A lot to catch up on, but I kind of like these because we don't get to really go in depth and kind of strain some things out, if that makes sense. We're going to give, shoot some takes on a lot of stuff that's happened and just keep the train rolling. Before we do that, guys, we're going to go ahead and cancel the 500 subscriber plan. We're going to go ahead and go through with this giveaway because I just told Noah, I said, I'm tired of looking at this stuff. We got to get it out to somebody. So with that being said, guys, if you are subscribed or you're new here and want to subscribe, we are going to be giving away the 3 items. A Zach Frazier signed West Virginia hat would look good definitely in an office or somewhere in the house. Major Harris, Don Nealon. I know that light's kind of killing it. Signed picture there. Good picture. And then, of course, the Bobby Huggins gold suit sign, Hall of Fame down there at the bottom. So, guys, we appreciate if you've stayed subscribed, things like that. If you're new, feel free to drop a subscription. And last thing, if you have your subscriptions hidden, please make sure to leave a comment because if not, I have no way of knowing that you are subscribed. But there is a list, and we have the people. So we'll get everybody entered. Next video, we'll do that giveaway. And that'll be it, man. So we appreciate you guys. And let's get right into this, Noah, with kind of the major headlines, I think, right? Let's start with, in my opinion, the biggest thing of the offseason so far, Jahiem White transferring out. And from my understanding, this was good for both parties, in my opinion. Noah, I hate to see a player like this leave, but I understand Jahiem's standpoint of this in this NIL era where we see these guys trying to extend their careers in college, get the most money they can. I completely understand his perspective. He wanted X amount of money from us. It sounded like we weren't really comfortable giving him that money coming off the injury, things like that, where we could, disperse it, use it different ways. And we kind of just parted ways, man. It sucks because of how talented this guy is. Probably one of the biggest what ifs, Noah. I think that's fair to say for West Virginia sports in recent time. What if he had a full season on that Rich Rod offense? We'll never know. And unfortunately, I think we're going to be watching him, my prediction, Auburn maybe next year with one of our favorite mid-major coaches last year, Alex Golish. So, Noah, your thoughts, opinions, and concerns of Jahiem White transferring out from West Virginia?
I think you kind of said it there, Gage. He was asking for a number, or maybe he was committed for a number before. We don't know. And West Virginia, he had injury concerns this year, and we saw how much Rich Rodriguez likes to run the football, right? It's ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound. With a guy coming off of this type of injury, how much are you able to give him, and how much money do you need to disperse to the running back room? Because it's not a one mouth place, right? There's going to be multiple backs that you have to pay to be able to provide, a lot of rushing attempts in this offense, Gage. So if he was looking for a number, maybe he wasn't asking for too much, and it didn't seem like that from everything we saw reported out of West Virginia. It wasn't like he was asking for an astronomical number, but the number he was asking for, it's like, okay, if we don't give him this, how can we disperse this across other backs? Maybe transfer portal guys that we're going to bring in as freshmen. That's the good thing about freshmen. They haven't really proven themselves, so they come with a little bit of a smaller price tag. Obviously, there's more of a risk in the freshmen in the sense that they haven't played, Power 4 football, haven't played collegiate football yet, but they do come with a smaller price tag, so you're able to get a guy that we'll talk about here in a little bit, maybe to try and fill a role that Jahiem had last year and then build on that in the portal, which I think we'll see a little bit of movement with the running back position in the portal, Gage.
And I was going to say, we haven't even touched on the transfer portal aspect of it. So you're always, there's money that's going to be thrown around from us in that. I can guarantee that. On the flip side of that, Noah, all signs are pointing towards wide receiver Cam Vaughn returning to West Virginia this next year. And a pretty up season to start and then a very downhill slope for him. I know kind of he left fans with a sour taste in his mouth, that kind of effort play that was shown. And I believe, was it the Texas Tech game, Noah, or was it the Arizona State?
I believe so.
Just the streak routes, listen, in those situations, I understand. I'm kind of pro player, right? It's like we were down 55 to whatever it might be. And it's like, I know it looks terrible, Noah, but there's so much frustration in a season that we had this past year. It's like, Yes, it's caught on camera. I understand. But I kind of give the guy a break because I think he's going to make up for it in a big way this upcoming year. I really thought this guy was going to go, Noah. And I say it more in the terms of, Cam, if you're listening to this video, please don't don't take my word for anything. This offense doesn't necessarily fit his style, right? I just think not even the Miamis of the ACCs and things like that. If this guy went to an NC State next year or one of these pass-heavy, kind of low to mid, Power 4 teams, I think he would thrive. I think he'd be a 1,000-yard receiver. I really do. Just in our offense from what we saw this past year, I just don't know volume-wise, what his role looks like going forward. And he's a younger guy, Noah, so who knows the kind of jump that he's going to take this upcoming year, assuming he stays. Now, we could post this video tomorrow, and, the next day he could say, I'm gone. I mean, it's kind of what happened with Jahiem. Everybody was kind of expecting him to come back. He was posting things left and right, and he's gone. And that's the nature we live in. But all signs right now, December 26th, point to him coming back. How big of a factor, right, is retaining your ex-receiver, no matter what his statistics were, but also just a phenomenal playmaker, in my opinion, in Cam Vaughn. I think that just keeping this guy around with potentially Scotty Fox, a new transfer portal quarterback coming in, this was a key guy to retain, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think what you hit on there on the end gauge is if it happens to be Scotty Fox that runs the show next year, we don't know that. Obviously, there's transfer portal to hit, but if it is, there's chemistry built there already, and that's a big thing. Any receiver and quarterback connection there is in college football, and/or you turn a game on the Sunday. It looks different when Joe Burrow's throwing to Jamar Chase than Joe Flacco's throwing to Jamar Chase. It's different, right? There's chemistry built there. I think Scotty and him, if they were able to have an offseason or whichever, if they choose to bring a guy in, whoever it is, them building, a relationship early into the year. I think that's what a lot of people fail to understand with West Virginia this year. The coaching staff wasn't hired till, midway through December, almost end of December there. So guys are just getting in on campus. They're getting in late themselves. It's hard to start building that. But when guys are on campus and are staying on campus, through the offseason, there's time for more work. Obviously, the coaches can't be involved, but there's time to build rapport, hey, whenever I make this move, if I dip my shoulder, I'm going this way, so on and so forth. And that's just a big thing in a connection, even offensively, just outside of throwing the football, knowing, right? There's going to be times whoever takes the helm next year where Rich Rod's probably going to give them the ability to check out of plays, and the receiver and the quarterback have to be on the same page for these things to work. I think that's what we saw this year, too. There were probably times where Scotty and these guys could have checked out of plays, but because everything was so new, how much do you let them, control their own offense? And that's a little bit rough. It's what you see when you watch Texas Tech or Alabama or these, really powerhouse teams. Their quarterback have the ability to check at the line if the play isn't exactly what they like.
What a difference it makes, right? So let's switch gears a little bit. No, let's go to obviously the kind of key thing in West Virginia football right now. Everybody, no matter what your college team is, everybody gets excited for your recruiting class, right? Even when you load up, College Football 26 on PlayStation, Xbox, everybody wants to recruit. Everybody wants to bring in the 4 stars, the 5 stars. But in our case, no, hell, bring in 100,000 3 stars. Let's see if we can turn some diamonds from mud or whatever that saying is. Noah, an astonishing 45 3 stars, right? 3 4 stars highlighted by, of course, 2 top 300s, Kevin Brown and Matt Sieg. Brown, of course, the offensive tackle. Sieg, safety, potential 2-way is what I'm hearing. Who knows? We'll see. And then, obviously, somebody we're all going to be excited to see, Amari Latimer from Georgia. The flip from Wisconsin is what I was trying to say. This isn't us kind of diving through the recruiting class. Like I said, we've never really been the outlet to kind of do that. There's people who do that extremely well for West Virginia sports, sitting down, breaking tape and stuff like that. But here's what I will tell you. For a team that had the record that we had, right, and the talent that we put on the field, okay, it needed somewhat of a rehaul. Now, obviously, there are some players from this past season who are going to take major strides, right, and become even bigger factors next year, both offensively and defensively. But let's be honest about something, Noah. More times than not, right, let's just say this is not a true number, but 50 returners, okay? Ideally, only 7 really make a jump, right, in my opinion. Like, it's not this drastic 25 or 30 guys, oh my gosh, he looks good. More times than not, guys are going to kind of thin out, pan out, but you'll have these kind of guys making the jump. So we needed a lot of these fresh bodies in here. Now, the flip side of that, Noah, like you said, these are freshmen. They're hungry. They're inexperienced. This is all new. This is big boy stage, man. This is Big 12 football. Big 12 has been taking hella some slack this past year, right? In my opinion, we're the third best football conference in college football behind SEC and Big 10, right? Give me Big 12 over ACC every day, and I mean that full-heartedly. So, I'll let you, this is your kind of thing. You like the recruiting class and things like that. It's just the highlight of me of we had 49 commits coming in here. I can't even get 17 guys to recruit. Or I can't get 17 guys to commit on my dynasty on my PlayStation, Noah. So a lot of bodies coming in. Rich Rod went to work. I mean, that's as simple as it is. He got a full year of evaluation. I think he has an idea of what he wants to do. Brought in some key guys. There are some guys that I'll kind of highlight in here after you're done that I like. Your overall thoughts, Noah? A lot of guys that we're going to be seeing at positions next year, brand new.
Yeah, Gage. I mean, you look at national rank, we're 21st in the country nationally, which is good. And people are going to say, oh, that's off the sheer amount of players you brought in. It's not how that works. That's not how the percentages break down. It's off, I think, your top 20 recruits there and their base. And that's how your recruiting class is built. And second in the Big 12, Gage. And like you said, when you look at a team that finished near the bottom of the Big 12 in itself, right? And you're able to bring this many guys in with a few, you could say a lot of difference makers, right? From the jump, a lot of difference makers. Kevin Brown was a huge, huge pull from Penn State. Thanks for James Franklin leaving, right? And then you had a few guys at the JUCO level who were really, really high ranked, which I think that's a very good building block in recruiting in West Virginia. We've had so many studs come out of, I think it was Northwestern Mississippi Community College.
Yes, and I want to say real quick, before you keep going, I know you're going to say it, I would love for Rich Rod to just recruit the hell out of junior college players in general. I wish he would have recruited 15 to 20 more. Listen, in no means am I comparing my junior college baseball experience to junior college football, right? But I can tell you one kind of common theme between anybody that goes JUCO route, right? You said it. You're going to say it. You give these guys a freaking T-shirt, you give them a meal plan, and you're going to get their A-plus effort every single day. That's just how they operate. It's just how they're wired. Because when you go to these places, Noah, I truly mean this when I say it. You get wired different, okay? Because you see, you play in these situations. Junior college football, I know, there's some shaky stuff. It's hard to tell what these guys have been through, right? But you watch, I'm getting overlooked, right? This guy's getting this offer, I'm better than him. That whole situation. And when these guys finally get to this stage where they're able to prove themselves, it just, this hunger aspect of, this is my moment. I'm here for a reason. I outworked everybody in junior college, and I'm going to show you why you should have recruited me. I'm so excited for these JUCO guys, man, because it's a different level of hunger, and they come in ready to go immediately, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit more ingrained than, I guess that's not really a hot take, but these guys that have played junior college football, they are a little bit more ready to step up to the test to play this power conference football. JUCO football is really, really good in certain conferences. Last Chance U on Netflix really opened my eyes to see how good junior college football is. There's 7-8 guys on each of these, rosters that are going to make impacts at, SEC schools, ACC, Big 12, the Power Four. There's going to be multiple guys on each of these rosters that are able to, compete at the next, the Power Four levels very highly. But Gage, whenever you look at this kind of break, not to harp on last year, but when you get into the portal last year, Gage, you don't really have the ability to say, man, how does this guy fit our scheme? How does this guy fit what we do at West Virginia? Does he embody the things that we need? Is he fast enough to get from edge to edge? Whatever the philosophy is, you want to practice and preach there, guys have to be able to fit that. There's a certain mold, especially with Rich Rodriguez football. I think that's what you've seen, in the high school ranks and the junior college guys we got, and we're going to see that in the transfer portal. We're not, scraping, the bottom. These guys fit. They are what we want here in the program, right? So these guys fit what we're trying to do and what we're trying to go to. And you're going to see that carry over come portal season. I was really, really astonished by the guys. Like you said earlier, Amari Latimer, he brings, just him signing brings you another play in the transfer portal. I'll go ahead and say it. His brother is committing here. I'm going to let you guys know that. Not an insider source, but there's no reason he jumps in the portal 2 days after his brother commits to West Virginia, and he already played for Rich Rod, right? So he will be a Mountaineer come soon. Like I said, just the ability to build this roster with the season that just happened. Not that it was a terrible season. I think it was people didn't really mean it when they said as long as we beat Pitt, we'll be happy. That's kind of what you got, right? You had one win against Houston that was good. Bringing these guys in and being able to sell your program, sell what you're trying to build here was huge for this coaching staff and huge for the players that are going to stick around for years to come.
Yeah, and I will give you a couple guys, kind of just quick highlights that I'm excited for this upcoming year. One being Cameron Dwyer, better known as Bam Bam Dwyer from Wellington, Florida. I think this guy's going to be one of the immediate impact guys at the outside linebacker position, Noah. From what I've saw from a lot of these newer guys committing, this guy kind of jumps off the page to me a little bit. Really like him. And then another one, Noah, I know he's kind of coming off an injury here. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. My guess is a potential red shirt, let him get healthy. Then 2027 we see him. But Sir Paul, Jesus and cleats, Noah. Now listen, I don't have, and I have saw some Twitter highlights, things like that, but I don't have to personally sit down and watch your tape to trust that you're good if you have the nickname Jesus and cleats. I'm just throwing that out there right now. Is there a chance that he never plays a snap for us or he's not as good as what we think? Sure. But if you have the nickname Jesus and cleats and the last name across your back says Cheeks, okay, I'm going to trust. You have my full faith, Sir Paul. I'll actually need to order my jersey once that whole thing gets finalized. We find out what number he has. It'll probably be framed somewhere right here with Fred Perry side by side, something like that. But Sir Paul Jesus and cleats is a guy I think down the road, 2027. Like I said, coming off ACL injury, Latimer there's going to be serious. That is our potential Lions backfield, Gibbs Montgomery. Maybe later on, so we'll see. That's a sprinkle there. But Sir Paul Jesus and cleats, name to remember. How could you forget? No, let's transition to the most important position on the football field, right? I just watched this documentary today, John Elway, awesome on Netflix. First time ever really watching, hearing about him. Once again, just reminded how important quarterback is, right? You have to have it on lockdown every single year to be successful. Scotty, the overall theme this offseason is going to be, because we're going to bring in a transfer portal quarterback, Noah. It's going to happen. We just don't know who yet. Scotty Fox versus who, right? We're not going to shoot takes. Maybe that's a separate video we'll do, who we like in this class, things like that. Just the overall kind of nature of this, Noah. Where do you think mindsets are from Coach Rich Rodriguez, Scotty Fox, and anybody else that you want to include of this? I think there's going to be some real deal competition brought in. And I think it's not going to be spread out. We're going to bring in 2 guys or 3 guys. I think they're pushing their chips in, Noah. I think we're going to bring in somebody big. I really do feel it.
I think that's a question, Gage. When you look at the stance of even not above Rich Rod, because Rich Rod obviously is the top of the helm of the program, but you have to talk to your general manager here. We have to be in communication of how much do we want to spend? What are we looking for out of the quarterback play this year, right? Do we want to spend, half of what we have to bring in, Brendan Sorsby? Not that I think that's a possibility, but that's how much you would have to pay to get a guy like Brendan Sorsby. Do you want to go a little bit lower? Do you want to bring in Colton Joseph from ODU with a little bit of a smaller cap, right? It all depends on what you think money-wise you could spend and fluctuate around to other guys in the portal. Don't have an exact number on how much we have to spend in the portal. Seemed as if we saved some money from last year. We moved it to this year. And that's putting us in a good position. I believe that's why you got Matt C. I really do. And Latimer. I think those are 2 guys that we got because we were able to outbid the other 2. Not saying they didn't want to come to West Virginia, but it's a very, very good possibility.
Money talks.
Heavier spenders. Yes, that we were heavier spender than the other people in the party. So when you look at that, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks, especially at that group of 5 level, that fit what West Virginia likes to do. They have the upside with their legs, good arm, very experienced. I think that's where you're going to see West Virginia go. Get one of these group of 5 guys that are proven and bring them up to the Power 4 ranks, because if you have just, say, $5 million to spend in the portal, you don't want to go spend 2.5 on Sorsby or I'm blanking on some of the names that are
Levitt, Lagway. Yeah. And
you don't want to go
again,
spend all that money there.
it's a let's be honest, it's a little unrealistic, right? Sam Levitt isn't coming to Morgantown. That's a negative move for him. Okay, a lot of these guys who are transferring or in the portal, they are looking to go up. And sometimes that's a better fit for them. It's not necessarily record wise, but the Levitts of the world, the Sorbsbys of the world, the Lagways of the world, and the transfer portal, no matter what your opinion is of them, they're just not coming to West Virginia, right? It's just not. It's not in the plans. Those top probably 3 to 5 transfer quarterback guys. Those guys are truly set for your Miamis. A couple of your SEC schools. Off the top of my head, it kind of rotates. So it's just kind of unrealistic. So I definitely agree. The mid major. I mean, we can at least mention his name, Colton Joseph from Old Dominion. Is this the guy? I really like him. You really like him. I don't know. We're not in Rich Rod's shoes. We're not in Chuck Lilly's shoes, the GM. I just don't know. No, I don't know where they're at, but I'll be interested to see who they bring in. I'll put it this way, and I'll let you talk about Scotty. I'd be more concerned for next season if they didn't bring somebody in through the transfer portal for the quarterback position.
Yeah, Gage. Big believer in iron sharpens iron. No matter if you think Scotty Fox is your guy going into next year, if Rich Rod sat down and talked to Pat White and Rhett, and he said, hey, look, Scotty's our guy next year, no matter what. You go out and you at least get one that can make him compete, right? I think my personal take, and I'm not going to go into too deep on is Scotty the guy or is he not the guy, but you are doing him a disservice himself if you don't bring a guy in that makes him work every rep to make him as good as he can be, right? Because we saw sparks of what Scotty can be, and then we saw sparks of, oh man, Scotty, what are you doing here? Cam Vaughn, there was a couple times he was underthrew. It happens, right? It's the same. It's a freshman quarterback, Gage, and that's what you got. He can build off that, and I have the trust that he has the want and the hunger to be a better player himself. But as we all know, if you were a former athlete, you have that guy, biting at your heels on the bench. Man, I'm ready to get that rep around. It makes you perform to that next level, right? It makes you that much better because, it's not given. It's earned, and you can say that when you go into it. And, I mean, just really think about it, Gage. How many times were our quarterbacks injured this year? I'll be damned if Rich Rod's going to be in a position where he doesn't have anybody to look to and say, oh, man, we're going with this guy next. So whether it's Scotty or it's not Scotty, we have to have serviceable options behind just Scotty.
Yeah, for sure. No, to backtrack a little bit, I want it to be known that we have 9 of the ESPN junior college top 50 recruits committed to come play at West Virginia. That's phenomenal. I wish it was all 50, right? I wish all 50 guys were coming in. I just wanted to throw that out there. 9 of the top 50 junior college guys. That's go ahead.
To backtrack a little bit, Gage, just I kind of slipped my mind there thinking about it. I love Kevin Brown. I love Sieg. I love Latimer. I love these guys that we brought in, as freshmen. But the JUCO guys that we brought in, because they were so highly rated, it really, really made me, oh man, we're going to be able to compete next year at the high level. Because we all know as freshmen coming in, you saw it with Scotty, you can be a good player. You can be a solid player. But how good can you be as a freshman? Because some of these guys, the transfer portal allowed, 26, 25-year-old guys, grown men, to be playing against freshmen that are just coming out of high school football. And that's a very, very tough task. Only one of the very few guys that I can think of that could have stepped into that role and did it pretty flawlessly, because we saw him do it, was Zach Frazier. From our home state here in West Virginia. He was able to compete at that level coming right out. And there are a few. I think Kevin Brown has the frame to compete right at the beginning, but you're going to see that the level of competition definitely grows very quickly in the powerful football from high school.
100%. Last 5 minutes of this video, Noah. Not necessarily, once again, kind of the quarterback situation. We'll take a look at some transfer portal guys, probably make a video of some certain positions, things like that. But the overall upcoming transfer portal, the one clear thing that stands out to me is we are not in a state of Texas Tech, SEC schools, where we can say, all right, we have saved our money. We are going to hammer this position, right? We're going to hammer offensive guard. We're going to hammer defensive end, linebacker. We're not in that state. In my opinion, I think we need to approach this transfer portal session as we are almost open to taking anybody. Now, the transfer portal is, of course, coaches reaching out, contacting people, things like that. So, in a sense, I think that Coach Richrod, everybody in the recruiting aspect of things, we need to be checking all of our boxes on a lot of players at a lot of positions, right? I think you need to reach out to possibly the max amount of people that you can in the transfer portal because not necessarily, I think no. I truthfully believe that we are in a state where if we receive a player at any position, it is either an upgrade or neutral, right? It's not like a negative, like oh my gosh, why did we go get this position or why did we spend our money here? That's kind of a good thing. I think of it like one of these dog shit teams in the NFL who have most amount of cap. Patriots last year, no, this is a perfect example. Right now, of course, we don't have Drake May at West Virginia, but when you have all this money, you're just able to just be like, yeah, we want him. We're going to offer this here. We're going to do this, this, this. And you see, I mean, we're not the Patriots. So, we're not competing for a Super Bowl next year, but you get my point. We have so much money that we've saved, apparently, right? Hopefully we don't pull New York Yankees. They're not doing anything in their offseason. Baseball in December, don't kill me. But we have all this money. We need to get everything, Noah. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, okay, we need offensive line, we need guard, we need it all. I'm not going to lie to you. We need every help we can get. Your kind of overall thoughts of this upcoming transfer portal, how important, right? I mean, this is everything. This is kind of the closing book on this past season into the new season. This is big, Noah. This is big.
Yeah, I think, Gage, what you kind of hit on, I think you're going to see at least 20 players added in the transfer portal, especially with some of the guys you saw hop out of town in the transfer portal. And best of luck to anybody that played for West Virginia this year and came back for Richrod's, first tenure back here, in Morgantown. So there's no bad blood to these guys. They came in, they served their purpose, but we saw some guys, they obviously evaluated them and said, hey, look, you might be better off if you go get in the portal and see if another team wants to pick you up because we have other thoughts about this position, or we can't pay you what you're asking one way or the other. I think you're going to see 20 guys added, and I think you're going to see, in my opinion, a very, very focused offensive line push. I think you're going to see at least 3 guys added that can start tomorrow for West Virginia. And I think what you said there is you can't get any worse, right? And that's nothing against. Obviously, we had some guys that played a very, very high level of football, or shouldn't say high level, but very, very outperformed their peers on the offensive line. Cray was one of them, and I'm blanking on the name.
No, let's not beat around the bush on something, okay? Listen, I say this respectfully. I truthfully say this with no disrespect. I've watched a lot of football in my life. A lot of football. And that's not a flex. I'm not sitting here, saying that. Chemo and Walter Youngbear are just it just wasn't right. No, it just wasn't meant to be. This okay, things did not align for them to be good at West Virginia. Some of it personal, other things scheme, maybe. Who knows? I don't know how that balance draws out. But let's just put things in plain terms, Noah. They were terrible. They were very bad. Okay? I guess I say that really with all due respect. There will be upgrades. You're right. People will come in and start tomorrow because, I mean, there were some weeks, there were some reps where I would take you and I over that guard combo. I swear to God.
So exactly what you're hitting at there, Gage. There, and what we hit on a little bit earlier, I think there's going to be a focus on the offensive line position because you look at it from the perspective of what is the hardest place to play, come from a high school level and play at the next level. And it's offensive line, right? Because these guys have, been in the gym for 3 or 4 years. They've been on a weight program. They've added 30 pounds since high school. That's the toughest position, I believe, coming from the high school level to the powerful outside of quarterback, right? Because quarterback is tons, to think about and those type of things. But the offensive line is where grown men play. And that's where you're going to see in the portal. I would say, you're going to have 3 guys signed within the first 2 days of the transfer portal coming into Morgantown. Hopefully some guys, maybe interconference from the Big 12 because we had a few really big coaches leave in the Big 12 Gage, so no better than these guys are used to playing these teams. Bring them into Morgantown. So let's see what we got.
For sure, man. No, I'm all good. Is there anything else on your mind you want to finish this video with?
No, Gage, I think I'm good. Let's hope for a better year, and God bless the Mountaineer basketball team getting ready to start Big 12 play.
God bless Trace and Eagle staff as well. It's time to kick it in gear. All right, guys, wrap this video up for football. Make sure you are subscribed. If you have your subscriptions hidden, make sure to leave a comment and you can just put entered, right? Just put entered so I know that I can get you in. We'll get you in the system for the raffle. Zach Frazier hat, the two autographed pictures. We'll be, shipping that stuff out as soon as we can. Noah, let's shoot for today is the 26th. Let's shoot for the 30th, right? We'll shoot for later this week. We'll record, get something done. Hopefully get that stuff picked, get those people picked out and everything sent off. All good. So, guys, we appreciate you watching. Make sure to leave a thumbs up and leave any, questions, comments about the offseason, concerns, of course. Any guys that you want the Mountaineers to go out and get, quarterbacks, receivers, running backs. Let us know what you're thinking, man. We appreciate you watching as always. We'll see you in the next one.